Hello and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. I am Amber Fields and today I would like to read a special piece by Jason Gray titled The Dark Night of the Soul. There is a moment in the evolution of consciousness when all lights go out. Not just around you, within you. You can no longer feel the pulse of the world as you once did. Joy becomes a foreign tongue. The face in the mirror looks familiar, but it is no longer yours. The very framework of who you believed yourself to be begins to dissolve, and you find yourself standing at the edge of an immeasurable void. This is not sadness. This is not even despair. This is something much more ancient, more sacred, more terrifying. This is the dark night of the soul. No one talks about how spiritual awakening often begins with ruin. Not a poetic ruin, but a real one. You lose interest in everything you once loved. Not because it failed you, but because the part of you that once resonated with it has begun to die. You detach from people, from ambition, from desires you once thought defined your very existence. Not by choice, but because they simply fall away, like leaves from a tree that no longer has the strength to hold them. The dark night is not a phase. It is not a mood. It is a sacred disintegration. The collapse of the scaffolding your soul once clung to. It is when the soul, no longer satisfied by surface truths or inherited beliefs, begins to call out for something real. Not something given, something remembered. To remember what is true, everything false must first burn. You cry out for God, and God does not answer, not because it is absent, but because it is everywhere, and the voice that once spoke in human tones must now speak through silence. You plead for guidance, and none comes. Not because you were abandoned, but because the next step cannot be taught. It must rise from within, from the place where language dies and only knowing remains. This is the sacred paradox. You are not lost. You are being reborn, but every rebirth requires a death. And death is never tidy. It is an unraveling, a shedding, a sacred annihilation. You wander, spiritually homeless, through landscapes of inner winter. The hardest part is this. Nothing changes on the outside. The world goes on. People still laugh at things you no longer find funny. They still chase things you have let go of. They still talk about politics, weather, weekend plans, as if everything is fine. But inside you, a revolution is taking place. The soul, long buried under layers of programming and survival and ego, is rising. It will not negotiate. Then, one day, something shifts. Not loudly, not with fireworks, not with angels singing, with a breath, a moment of stillness, a pause between thoughts. You look around, and something is different, but nothing has changed. The dishes are still in the sink. Your name is still your name. The sky is still blue. People still disappoint you. The world is still broken, yet you know, without question, without proof, that you are not the same. You have awakened. This awakening is not what you were sold in books or workshops. It is not blissful rapture or continuous ecstasy. It is clarity. It is peace so profound it requires no explanation. It is the end of seeking because you realize that you are what you have been searching for all along. Your mind is still there, but it no longer runs the show. It becomes like a helpful assistant, useful, but no longer the master. The thoughts still come, but you are not in them. You witness them. You smile at them. You feel anger, but it passes through you like a wave, not like a poison. You feel grief, but it no longer shatters you. It deepens you. You no longer fear the shadows because you know they are a part of the light. This is the transformation the dark night brings. You are no longer bound by your story. You see it now as a chapter, not an identity. You do not forgive the past. You understand it. You do not strive for love. You are love. You do not chase purpose. You embody it. The shift is invisible to others. To you, it is seismic. You walk through the same world, but you move differently. You carry silence with you like a lantern. You listen, not just with ears, but with your whole being. You speak, not to impress, but to uplift. You live, not to escape death, but to honor life. People may say, "You have changed." They will be right, but they will not understand why. They will see a new calmness in your eyes, a gentleness in your voice, a presence they cannot name, but feel in your company. This is the mark of one who has walked through the fire and come out whole. You are no longer trying to fix the world. You are here to love it, fiercely, tenderly, without conditions, because you finally remember the world was never broken. Only your lens was. When the lens is clear, the divine shines through everything. The mundane becomes miraculous. Every conversation becomes a prayer. Every breath becomes a hymn. This is the aftermath of the dark night of the soul. Not salvation from life, but union with it. Not perfection, but presence. Not certainty, but peace with uncertainty. It is when the soul returns home, not by changing the world, but by finally seeing it. Everything is the same. Everything is different. Nothing will ever be the same again. Jason Gray. I think that I've been through at least 4 dark nights of the soul. One of them was probably when I was a child, and I won't count that one because it's hard to say that I gained any enlightenment through it, although I know that I did become more wise as a result of it, and probably wiser sooner than I would have otherwise. And then as a teenager, many people experience a dark night of the soul, and that was one of the more rough ones. And then as a young adult, getting Lyme disease and facing the challenges that come with that and the uncertainty. And then building my house from stump to stud with my partner. Definitely nearly killed us several times, I'd say. And then through COVID, having a newborn child and being isolated from the world and being sleep deprived and in pain for several years, and also losing my sister-in-law first, and then my brother, both to suicide. And I've had a total of 3 people in my family take their lives by self-inflicted gunshots to the head. And so, yeah, I say at least 4 dark nights of the soul, because honestly, I feel like there's been more than that, and it's hard to count, and it's hard to separate them, because they all kind of run together sometimes. But I do know that having survived them all, because, you know, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and my brother, they didn't survive their dark nights, and so many people don't. But having survived my dark nights and come out the other side having learned many things, I can say that the strength and the resolve to live authentically are the things that stick out to me most, and the wisdom that I bring with me forward, knowing that how heavy life can be, and yet seeing that it doesn't have to be, and being able to move on from those things and not necessarily heal, but move on and find a way of being peaceful again. That brings a certain wisdom and a certain lightness to your soul and a certain resolve that it's so true. You can't get through other experiences in life. And I don't think that I've come out of any of those dark nights. As Jason writes, I don't think I've become enlightened through them, because I think each time I've become a little bit more enlightened, but it's hard for me to say that I am enlightened, because I know I still have growth to do, and I know that there will probably be more dark nights of the soul that I need to face in this life, as so many of us do. But that piece of writing really touched me, and it just speaks such a truth to my soul. So I wanted to share it with you all today. Thank you for listening.